up, ready. I have no idea where the time goes. I wake up and then it's Thursday and I think, what have I done all week? And it feels like, oh, I have pets here that aren't sure of each other. So it feels when I do a 40-hour week the same as it feels when I do a 60-hour week. And so I was trying to figure out what is the difference. And I think what happens is when I'm doing a 60-hour week, I have so many things that I need to do that I just go from task to task to task to task. And I'm so busy and it's all in my head and I'm always thinking about it. And when I have a 40-hour week, it's a little bit slower and I still think about it all of the time, but I guess I disconnect from work when I have a slower week and I'm able to come home and relax, and I don't know, it feels like I've been just as productive. Ranger's behind me, like, I guess he's cats or dogs don't wash themselves like cats do. This is my first time watching a dog, and I love Ranger. I have set up our schedule so that we have multiple walks. We're going to meet friends at a brewery. We've got a very busy weekend in front of us. The cat, I don't know if you can see her. She is okay, you can kind of see her ears, like right there. She's very unsure, and she is watching. Every time he moves, she pops up and she has her ears flat, and she looks at him, and then she goes back down. Every single time he moves, and he's following me around and hanging out with me, which is really fun. And he's actually got a foster sister that's been living with him that is so cute, and I want to adopt her, but I just don't have time to take care of a dog. The cat is a lot of work, and I clean her litter box once a week, and she has an automatic feeder. um, yeah, but so I'm really excited to have him here this weekend. Oh, it's also different that dogs lick you and cats don't. So anyway, my week at work has been a little bit slower. We are officially on the Jacob system next week. So it's been fun doing my performance check-in review, which I scheduled with my supervisor weeks ago, right when they sent us the email saying we were going to need to do it. I scheduled a bunch of feedback sessions to talk to people that I've been working with and say, hey, look, I don't want to get feedback through the system that is connected to my bonuses or my raises. I want to have feedback that is on point and is something that I can work from, because when it's connected to the way you get raises, the feedback you end up getting from your coworkers is very supportive. So it's very much, this is what you did well, this is something that you can continue to do and you can get a little bit better at. And they'll come up to me and they'll actually ask me, what do you want me to put in your feedback so that you can continue to do? So if I wanted to go to more conferences or have funding to go chase after business development work, or if I wanted to start taking on bigger tasks and managing bigger things, that's something that I could tell one of my coworkers, and my coworkers would then put in my feedback so that it would go into the system as, oh, well, Andy needs to do more development work or more business development work. And then because I want to do more business development work, I can then point to it in the system and say, hey, I would like some funding to do this, and it's within my goals, and these people I work with also thought that I needed to be doing this. So it's very interesting system when you have such supportive people that are around you and want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your feedback in terms of salary, benefits, and puppy, and different training and professional development. So I went on the side and asked them, hey, I've worked with you on these projects. We're going to transition into this new project. How can I better support you? Oh, do you see the cat? she's like, what's going on? Where's Ranger going? So that was my performance check-in review. I went in with a sheet full of a ton of numbers about the projects I was on and how much they were making the company and how many hours I was putting and what the gross margin is based on the multiplier. And the person that I directly report to is a numbers guy, and he loved it. I think I had certain things highlighted and other things bolded, and he actually kept it and stapled it together and put it in his drawer. I think he was just blown away that I had put so much work and so much of my own free time into just coming up with a sheet of numbers. But I'm a numbers person too, and we get to talk about our investments and things that we're investing in, and talk about the company and the corporation, and we talked about some of my projects, and the muscle proposal that I had been working on, which I think I talked about in my last couple Friday chats with you guys. So that happened on Monday, and then I was in the office again on Wednesday, which is very abnormal. Well, based on the last couple weeks. Previously, I was in the office every day. This last year, I have almost never been in the office, so I was in the office 2 days in 1 week. And the second day was for a lunch with what we call the water group, and so it's everybody in my office that works in water. And so we had a lunch meeting. We went over how much we're making, what our projects are, what our new pursuits are, projects we've won, highlights of people who are doing an awesome job. And we had somebody in our San Antonio office who is also part of our little water group here in Central Texas. They presented a GIS dashboard where they took ArcGIS and they embedded it into it's like an online viewer, and you can see in real time as one of our inspectors is out in the field watching contractors construct something. They put into their iPads, this section of pipe is complete, or this section of pipe is under inspection but it's been constructed. And that data goes in, it goes online and it uploads itself, and then we can see it on this ArcGIS viewer, and we can have it in real time tally the percent of the project that's done. We can have it tally the linear feet of pipe that's been installed. We could go in and click on some structures, which were equalization basins, which I actually designed. And I wrote a blog post about the math model that I used to design these structures. But you can go in and you can see the 3D CAD of the structure that I think was developed in InfoWorks by our CAD person. And so you see the map in GIS online, you click on the structure and it pulls up this 3D model of what that structure looks like in the drawing. So the inspectors out in the field can look at their iPad and see the exact design, the dimensions, everything right there on their iPad. And then us in the office can look and see how much of the project is complete and what do we have left to do. We can have it builds a bunch of pie graphs to show you percent completion and other sorts of information that you would need to know. And then one of the questions that was really great by somebody in my office was, hey, how do we connect the pay app and the schedule of values that the contractor puts together to this ArcGIS platform? So when the contractor says, I am 80% done with my work, and they bill us for 80% of the work, we can go into the ArcGIS and say, yeah, it does look like you're 80% done. And we'll do that anyway, but they're disconnected systems. And so it would be really nice if we could have that schedule of values inside the ArcGIS system. So you just click on it and run a report and then send the money to the contractor without them having to do, all this back and forth paperwork and checking and signing off by everybody. And I think that's something that the engineering community really needs to think about streamlining, especially because we have so much data and so much opportunity to use technology. And us as millennials coming in to the workforce are used to doing everything from our cell phones, and we're used to purchasing things online. And it would be really cool if we could figure out how to streamline invoices, streamline paying sub-consultants, and make it so that it is a fast, easy, efficient process that's also accurate using these tools that millennials are used to using already. And I really think that's the way the engineering community needs to go. It's not something that anybody's really thinking about yet, especially because we're so traditional of an industry. But I would like to see some change within my industry, and I am creating a blog post about that, which is coming out on Tuesday, which I've been super excited about. I've been thinking about it as me calling out the industry on things they need to change with the influx of millennials coming up into the workforce. I don't know that it'll end up being me calling out the industry, but it will definitely be me chatting about millennials and the workforce, things the industry can do to change, and just throwing out some ideas of, oh my gosh, I'm watching these pets. Hey there, come up here. I don't know how to get dogs to come. Come here. Yep, he's not gonna have it. And then Zanza Mittens is over there just checking it out. Hey there, what's going on? Oh, there's. He's just gonna hang out on top of the couch. That's cool. um, that's where Zanza Mittens likes to stay, so we'll see what she thinks about this. So yeah, I was in my lunch meeting. Oh, and I had just posted a post about me going in the office and being really nosy, looking at everybody's projects, asking them about them, and being like, "Hey, how can I help out with your project? What you're doing is cool. How can I help?" And then we saw that GIS database or the online viewer, and I had designed the structures, and so I started texting the senior engineer that I was working with, who's a conveyance or pipeline engineer, and I was like, "Hey, Jonathan, how can I get out to see my structures?" And he was texting me back during the presentation and telling me, the contractors, this isn't even a gleam in their eye yet. Like, they have not started thinking about building the structures, but once they're there, for sure, you should come out and see them and inspect them. And I was like, yes, I will find a way to get down there to see my structures once they start being built, because I learned so much when I'm in the field, and also because we're going to need to do services where we inspect them, we make sure that they're being constructed to the design, and it's nice to be able to go out and see something you design, so I can see, hey, maybe having this lip here of where the pipe goes into this concrete basin, maybe that lip is a bad idea because I can see now in the field that it's going to catch debris, or it's going to have buildup in there. And so those are things that they are very small pieces of the design that could have been done better, and it's a lessons learned for next time. And so I would hope to have that information, or have somebody tell me, hey, this is what happened with this thing you designed, so that next time I can build a better design. And that's all engineering is, right? It's designing something based on the best information you have, the experience you have, having people QC and look over your designs, and then next time doing an even better job. So that was funny, having just texting Jonathan during the presentation, like, hey yo, how can I go see my structures? And I called them my structures, and he didn't bat an eye. He was just like, yeah, you should come out and see them. So that's been my week. I was very excited all week for a conference call with a bunch of different engineering firms that were working on an aquifer storage and recovery project. And we're supposed to have all of the team members together on a call, and this has been a project that we were going to start 6 months ago, and then they weren't sure if they could get final permits, so we were going to put the wells on a property. This is in North Texas, and we could put in the test wells, but we were kind of thinking into the future, like, okay, if this site works out and these test wells show that we really want to build actual ASR wells here, are we going to be able to permit those wells right here when there is, I want to say it was a landfill that was like 1,000 feet away or a mile away, or there's some sort of landfill nearby. And so they considered doing a bunch of other properties, and it put the project on hold for about 6 months. So every month I do all my project management stuff and just push it down, push it out, saying, hey, we're at the same percent complete. We've still spent 0 hours. Schedule's going to push out another month. And then the next month I go into the system. We're still at 0% complete. Schedule is going to push out another month. And I send it through the system and get all the approvals. So this week it was going to start. I started working on my org chart and getting all my people ramped up. And then they canceled the call. So the call has been rescheduled about 8 times now, so I'm not quite sure it's actually going to happen next Tuesday, but I'm really hopeful for it because I'm very excited to do an ASR project, especially one that's in Texas. Hey, Pops. Yeah, and so the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about was that I starting to do a few more things on my YouTube. One of which is these chats with you guys on Fridays about what I've done that week. And the other thing is interviews with people that are in the industry or women that are doing awesome things. And I want to make it relevant to the water resources engineering channel that I have. So I conducted my first interview with Lauren, who is actually Ranger's mama, and she's an environmental policy lawyer. And she works in Austin, and she knows all the water and groundwater laws and Clean Air Act and Clean Water Act, and she's super knowledgeable about it. She's also really awesome and amazing, and so I was very excited to have her. And I've been working through some of the kinks on the video footage because my phone has a variable frame rate, and the program that I have to edit it, that's an Adobe program, only does constant frame rates, so I'll get audio drift after about 10 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I've been struggling with trying to get the audio and the video to match up, but once I get that all figured out, that is coming to you guys. My little interview with Lauren, which we did right here on my couch, and drank tea, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to keep doing those. But first I got to figure out how to get the audio and the video to link up. So that was my week. This was a really long chat with you guys, and I feel like I have a whole lot more energy than I normally have on a Friday. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, got my workout knocked out by 6 a.m. I worked on blog stuff. I did a bunch of work. I probably only did about 6 hours of actual work that I get paid for. I've been looking into finances and salaries and benefits so that I can do a presentation for women and girls on figuring out how to choose different benefit packages and how to negotiate your salary, which is something that I'm really excited about. So I worked on that a little bit today, and I'm going to hang out with Ranger, my snuggle buddy for this weekend, and probably go out and meet some friends. Maybe down the street, me and Ranger will go out and say hi. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Happy Friday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!